fellow citizens, pardon me, and allow me to ask, why am I called upon to speak here today? What have I, or those I represent, to do with your national independence? Are the great principles of political freedom and of natural justice embodied in that Declaration of Independence extended to us? And am I, therefore, called upon to bring our humble offering to the national altar and to confess the benefits and express devout gratitude for the blessings resulting from your independence to us? I am not included within the pale of this glorious anniversary. Your high independence only reveals the immeasurable distance between us. The blessings in which you this day rejoice are not enjoyed in common. The rich inheritance of justice, liberty, prosperity, and independence bequeathed by your fathers is shared by you, not by me. The sunlight that brought life and healing to you has brought stripes and death to me. This 4th of July is yours, not mine. You may rejoice, I must mourn. What to the American slave is your 4th of July? I answer, a day that reveals to him more than all other days of the year the gross injustice and cruelty to which he is a constant victim. To him, your celebration is a sham. Your boasted liberty, an unholy license. Your national greatness, swelling vanity. Your sounds of rejoicing are empty and heartless. Your denunciation of tyrants, brass-fronted impudence. Your shouts of liberty and equality, hollow mockery. Your prayers and hymns, your sermons and thanksgivings, with all your religious parade and solemnity, are to him mere bombast, fraud, deception, impiety, and hypocrisy. A thin veil to cover up crimes that would disgrace a nation of savages. There's not a nation of the earth guilty of practices more shocking and bloody than are the people of these United States at this very hour. At a time like this, scorching irony, not convincing argument, is needed. Oh, had I the ability and could reach the nation's ear, I would today pour forth a fiery stream of biting ridicule, blasting reproach, withering sarcasm, and stern rebuke. For it is not light that is needed, but fire. It is not the gentle shower, but thunder. We need the storm, the whirlwind, the earthquake. The feeling of the nation must be quickened. The conscience of the nation must be roused. The propriety of the nation must be startled. The hypocrisy of the nation must be exposed, and the crimes against God and man must be proclaimed and denounced.
If you want to know how integration has been held outside Mississippi for this long, you must first call on the Citizens Council, an organization dedicated to states' rights and racial integrity. Support comes from Robert E. Lee, Stonewall Jackson, and 85,000 living white citizens of Mississippi. The overwhelming political power of the council is well demonstrated by the fact that it is partially supported by state taxes. William Simmons is secretary of the Jackson Citizens Council, editor of its newspaper, and president of its forum, which produced radio and television programs attacking the advance of integration.
The South has a large Negro population. In our state, it's about 42% of the total. And anyone with two eyes in his head and with roughly normal vision can look around him and see that there's a vast and permanent difference between the white and colored people. That, as Abraham Lincoln so wisely said a number of years ago, would forever prohibit them from living on terms of equality in the same society. That, just in a nutshell, is the reason.
How do you, as a Southerner, justify your position in that here is a Negro citizen, he pays taxes, and sometimes he votes, and he's a citizen. How do you justify feeling that he is not, in the eyes of the law and in the eyes of everything that we know of as American and democratic, that he is not your equal?
Well, I don't know equality in the. I'm really not sure how you mean equal.
Well, I mean equal in every sense of the word.
Well, equality in every sense of the word is obviously a myth. There are no people who are equal, no two people. There are no two races who are equal. They have different qualities, and this is an objective matter that can be determined by objective standards. As far as the more subjective aspects of equality go, we believe in equality before the law for all people. This is something that's quite distinct from individual talent or capacity or accomplishment. I think they're really two separate things.
Well, let's get down to basics. The separate restrooms, the separate lunch counters, things of this type, the separate schools. How do you justify this if you think of him as an American citizen like you are?
Well, I don't see that there's any special connection. Why should the Negro feel any more discriminated against than the white man for associating with his own kind? White people who are segregated don't seem to resent it, and I don't think most niggers resent it. They seem to prefer that.
They do seem to prefer that. Outwardly, they have shown little interest in the battle against integration. There were no Mississippi Negroes among the Freedom Riders. Jackson Negro College students have attempted to use the white library, but even this drew no positive support from the rest of the Negro community. But it is difficult to say what they think, for they have no voice.
What is good, my people? We are live back again with another live broadcast on the forecast. And I'm sorry for interrupting y'all celebration and y'all fireworks and stuff, you know what I'm saying? I know y'all walking around with y'all sparklers right now. But business never stops, so I'm on here, you know what I'm saying? What's going on, Erica? How you doing? I appreciate you for coming through. So, first, before I get on here, make sure y'all subscribe to my backup channel in case they kick me off of here for whatever I say. And then I'm gonna have a live premiere, however long I'm on here. I'm uploading a live premiere right now, so it's gonna be on right after this live, and I'll make sure the time is perfect, so it'll come on after this live. And make sure y'all do that. Yeah, I know. It's sick that we're living in, Erica. We about to talk about that, you know what I'm saying, since it's the 4th of July, you know what I'm saying? But I do want to come on here and let y'all know that, I'm gonna push hard like this last, 2 months to try to raise up this money to help these people down in Alabama, you know what I'm saying? We only trying to get one septic tank, and I figured, like, you know what I'm saying, we can do it. But if we aren't at least making traction, getting close to doing it, and thank you to everybody who have donated, you know what I'm saying? I know some people don't want their name out there. Some people is cool with it, but I want to thank all of y'all for doing that, you know what I'm saying? Because I appreciate it. But if we're not there by the end of August, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to have to, you know what I'm saying, call it what it is and give the people their money back. What's up, bro? So today, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna just go through some things. Like the first thing I'm gonna do is we'll just talk about like some black history events for the 4th of July since y'all want to celebrate. I ain't gonna talk about why we shouldn't and do it, blah blah blah. I'm gonna talk about some black history stuff that happened on 4th of July, and then some other videos. I mean, I'll make it go to the subject of the 4th of July. So y'all can still feel okay about having y'all sparklers and celebrating with y'all, t-shirts on, but so I'm gonna just get into it, and I'm gonna put the link in the chat for anybody who want to come on here. All right, put the link in the chat. And peace, my sister Raw, thank you for coming through. All right, so I'm gonna just go through the Black History thing first. I'm gonna try to be quick with it. Because even upon the founding of America, one of their founding fathers, good old John Adams. Now he was against, because we have a lot of talk in our communities about turncoats and stuff like that. Now I don't know if he was a turncoat, but he was on the British side. And we all know the story about Crispus Attucks and how he was the first black person to die for this country. So let's go through some Black American history facts about while we celebrate this holiday, I guess. So this is why he defended. I'm only gonna play a little bit because it really don't matter why. We ask why a lot, but you know the second president of America defended the redcoats, defended the British people who committed the massacre, and people don't even know that. And the things that he did laid the groundwork for American society for real. So let's just see why he did it.
Boston's colonial leaders put the redcoat soldiers on trial for murder. The lawyer defending the soldiers is a surprising choice, John Adams, one of the leading voices of discontent.
These men, loyal servants of the crown.
He thought that it was critical to uphold the rights of the accused as a sacred traditional British liberty.
It is our duty and our obligation to look out for the mother country.
And also to prove to the mother country that the American people was not one big lynch mob.
Besides seeing their acquittal as a matter of justice, it's hoped it will also calm the friction in Boston.
John Adams made a very plausible argument that the British soldiers who fired in the crowd were firing in self-defense.
Adams also stacks the deck by packing the jury with loyalists. The verdict is handed down.
Your Grace, we find the defendants not guilty.
So people don't even know John Adams got these he was a traitor to America. He sided with the British, not America, and he became the second president. Now you see how they said he argued for self-defense, but they don't really tell you the story about why we know who Crispus Attucks is, why we know the story about Crispus Attucks being the first person shot. And John Adams, who is their founding father, and how he laid the groundwork for Crispus Attucks, So here it is. Attucks was taller than most of the white boys, and testimony at the trial for the British soldiers, he acted as their defense attorney and used Crispus Attucks and the fact that he was bigger than the race of, and they called him mixed race lineage, in an effort to justify the British troops' fear of him. So he argued they was fearing a black man, which is why they should get off. He described him as a stout mulatto fellow whose very looks was enough to terrify any person, which is why they did what they did. And they claimed that he was angry at the British for competition over work, even though he was a former slave or whatever, probably just trying to fit in with the white people, So competition from the influx of troops threatened to depress the wages of American workers like Crispus Attucks. So they trying to say that he was scared of him. You know what I'm saying? So when he was at the bar trying to chill with them, you know what I'm saying? And this is what John Adams is saying. He was a tough, fearless street fighter. You know what I'm saying? According to testimony, Addicts was at the front of the mob that went to confront the British soldiers, and it was the black man that caused the British massacre the Boston massacre to happen. The prudent thing to do for a man like Addicts was to back away from the confrontation, but he did not. That's what they're arguing during the trial. Addicts brandished two wood sticks, one of which he gave to a witness named Patrick Keaton. So he armed himself with a stick compared to their muskets or whatever they had, and gave it to an enslaved man named Andrew. Said that Addicts was a stout man. So yeah, this goes on and on saying why they shot, because a black man. You know, the jury acquitted the soldiers of murder and the deaths of 5 Americans, though 2 of them were convicted on a lesser charge. So so he got shot twice or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So in his death, he was the reason why they let people get off on America, you know what I'm saying? Now, this is just the start of what's going on. Yo, what's going on, Brandon? So let's go to the next thing real quick. All right. So then, after all of that, you know what I'm saying? After America got a start. So then, we get up to this 40 acres and a mule thing, and the whole history with Abraham Lincoln and what really happened with those people down there. You know what I'm saying? So all right, let's go through that then. All right. So, and this all has to do with like the 4th of July, you know what I'm saying? But even though this doesn't, but it does, you know what I'm saying?
December 9th, 1864. Sherman's 14th Corps was 220 miles southeast of Atlanta, crossing Ebenezer Creek on a pontoon bridge. The mission? Get to Savannah as quickly as possible.
Sherman was very specific and clear with his commanders. They had to keep moving. They were in a dangerous part of this campaign. It was late fall. Weather was getting worse. He didn't have a lot of time to stall or take on things that would slow down his movement.
But a large group of runaway slaves, perhaps more than 1,000, were following behind and slowing down the march. After crossing the creek, the soldiers pulled up the pontoon bridge, leaving the slaves stranded on the other side. With Confederate cavalry closing in, many of them jumped into the creek. It's estimated that hundreds of them, unable to swim, drowned.
It becomes a moral dilemma for commanders. What we train commanders to do is to be able to make a decision to doing all they can to protect individuals, to protect and respect property.
Now, you see how much this white boy is caping for what he did. Now, even some of his soldiers were like, yo, that was some of the most savage stuff, and it was completely unnecessary. And they did not tell the complete truth about what happened. Now, they had thousands of slaves, and they used the men, the people who could work, right, to clear the paths so that the army could get through. So they came upon the Ebenezer Creek, and they couldn't cross it. So they had the slaves build their, or they quote unquote freed them, even though by the way, Abraham Lincoln ordered them not to free anybody, so because he didn't want to offend nobody. But while they did that, you know what I'm saying, he ordered his troops to help them build the bridge. Now, as soon as they built the bridge, he ordered his troops he told the black people, and this was mostly the elderly, the women and children. They didn't tell you that that's who was getting slaughtered. Elderly, women, children, like the sickly, the people who could not work, injured people. So he told them, as soon as you get the last thing get across, you destroy that bridge and don't let them across. Make sure now he had time and everything, and they all knew that, but they destroyed the bridge. Now, soldiers who witnessed it They was like, yo, thousands of people, men, women, children, jumped into ice cold water, whatever. Most of them drowned, you know what I'm saying? And the people who did not drown, you know, they was slaughtered by the Southern. Now, this is the North and the South, so they're both on the same page while we arguing about which side we want to be on. You know what I'm saying? They slaughtering everybody, you know what I'm saying? So, like, they're, you know, beheading people, cutting people, and this is just women and children and stuff like that. And they ended up killing everybody. And the people they didn't kill or seriously wound, they just took them back to slavery. So after that happened, you know what I'm saying, the word got out because even some of the soldiers was outraged, even though this white boy today is trying to cape for him. You know what I'm saying? And so the General Sherman went down to speak with some black men, and that's where the whole 40 acres and the mule came, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna play this dramatization. And by the way, even though most of the history is like not even accurate, they probably take this off. But this is the thing when people talk about the 40 acres and a mule, you know what I'm saying, while we celebrating our freedom and independence, you know what I'm saying? So let me play this one.
Understand that as instructed, you have chosen one among you to speak for all. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yo, by the way, peace to everybody that came in. Bobby, Ryan.
Secretary Stanton, for reasons I know not why, that humbling honor has fallen to me. My name is Garrison Frazier, and I will do my best to represent adequately the views of my brethren.
Please, sir, won't you have a seat opposite me? State what your understanding is in regard to the acts of Congress and President Lincoln's proclamation touching the condition of the colored people in the rebel states.
Well, so far as I understand President Lincoln's proclamation to the rebellious states, it is that if they would lay down their arms and submit to the laws of the United States before the 1st of January, 1863, then all should be well. But if they did not, then all the slaves of the rebel states should be free, henceforth and forever. That is what I understood.
State what you understand by slavery and the freedom that was to be given by the President's proclamation.
Slavery is the receiving by irresistible power the work of another man, and not by his consent. This freedom, as I understand it, promised by the proclamation, is taking us from under the yoke of bondage and placing us where we can reap the fruit of our labor, take care of ourselves, and help the government maintain our freedom.
State in what manner you think you can take care of yourself, and how can you best assist the government in maintaining your freedom?
We can best take care of ourselves by having land, turn it, till it by our own labor. That is the labor of our women, children, and old men. And we can soon maintain ourselves and have something to spare. To assist the government, our young men should enlist in the service of the government and serve in such a manner as they may be wanted. But we want to be placed on land until we can buy it and make it our own.
State in what manner you would rather live, whether scattered among the whites or in colonies by yourselves.
I would prefer to live by ourselves, for there's a prejudice against us in the South that will take years to get over. But I don't know that I can answer for my brethren.
Yes. Since it is such an elemental question, I would like each of you state his position for the record.
Yes, sir. I must say I agree with.
All right, so yeah, I'm gonna start right there. But so during that time, you know what I'm saying, and I missed the part where, like, the Nat Turner Rebellion was scheduled for the 4th of July, 1831, but he got sick or something, so it didn't happen, you know what I'm saying? So then we got here. Now then after this meeting, Black people did get land or whatever, but then it was federally confiscated because they was ultimately not down with it. And for those people who like to be like Democrats, the Republicans were the ones who ended the Reconstruction era. You understand? And they called it the Redeemer era. You know what I'm saying? The Redeemer period, where they came to take back because they got afraid of Negroes being in government and positions, because during this time Black people did live out with themselves, and you know what, they started to build their communities just within a few years, you know what I'm saying? So on the 4th of July, a couple years after that, let me share my screen. So 4th of July, a couple years after that, Black people was having, like, they was out there with their sparklers and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? But it led to a massacre in Hamburg, South Carolina. You know what I'm saying? So let me go to the next one if it come up. All right, so I'm just gonna play some of this one, but this is about the Hamburg, South Carolina, and what happened on 4th of July and days after. You know what I'm saying? So.
Before Hamburg's story ended, the town, built with the help of slaves, eventually was run by those same people once held captive. Their leadership reached the South Carolina General Assembly, and by the Reconstruction era, 4 African-American men worked to create Aiken County, an idea conceived from Hamburg's finest.
If you have 3 South Carolina state representatives living in Hamburg, 2 of the founders of Aiken County, Samuel Lee and Prince Rivers, lived in Hamburg. So you had this political concentration of power, state power, in this little town.
But let's go back to the beginning, before African Americans made up Hamburg's leadership and overall population.
All right, let's skip the white part.
With white families.
Pretty much a white boy built the town to hate on them, you know what I'm saying, across, but whatever.
Who ran businesses there.
Rather than carrying it all the way over to Augusta across.
At that time, Hamburg began to decline, becoming a ghost town. During the economic downturn, despite slaves being sold in the town and a large number of Confederate troops quartered there. And after the war, historian Wayne O'Brien says a new Hamburg emerged with former slaves now self-sufficient enough to run their own city.
So they were able to come back into a town and say, these are shacks, but I can just build them back up because I was building the master's house. Whatever it took for planting crops, we were the ones doing it. And a lot of times they were the ones taking them to market, to trade, so they learned how to barter and all these types of things.
Armed with the right to vote from the 13th Amendment, South Carolina saw its first majority Black state legislature in U.S. history, and with it, prominent men born in slavery running Hamburg. Prince Rivers, a Hamburg judge, Samuel Lee, the first Black Speaker of the South Carolina House of Representatives, and John Gardner, the town's mayor. They created a new constitution, which integrated schools, but all of that clout came to a screeching halt at the end of Reconstruction, just as America celebrated its centennial. July 4th, 1876, Hamburg's African Americans rejoiced too, with a militia marching in town. 2 white men demanded they move, and from there a legal battle turned into hundreds of white men surrounding an old armory, looking for Black men to kill.
Grabbed him, put him in a circle, took him over a hill, shot him, grabbed somebody else, took him over a hill, shot him. I mean, the testimony of Harry Mays just blows my mind.
3 U.S. senators made their way to Hamburg to get the facts and uncover stories from witnesses such as Harry Mays about the execution-style killings of Black men. May's words were, the first man they killed was Attaway. Attaway says, "Gentlemen, I am not prepared for death. Will you allow me to prepare to meet my God?" Some of the white men said, "I don't care. We are going to kill you." They called for Dave Phillips. I heard the guns fire and they came back, but Dave didn't come. Then they came back and called Pompey Curry.
And when they called his name, he took off running and he was shot. They shot him in his leg, but he survived and he was able to tell the story and tell those who were involved. And
Minister Frederick Morton says he's the great-great-grandson of Curry, and through family.
All right, I'm gonna start right here because even this story is kind of skewed, and even though they're trying to be in their favor. See, they're saying there was a 4th of July parade, and there was on the 4th of July, and there may or may not have been a parade. I don't know. But what they don't tell you was it was a black militia, the Hamburg Militia Company, you see right here. You know what I'm saying? That which was a black militia, you know what I'm saying? And I think this is 1875 or something like that. And they were armed, they were doing their thing, you know what I'm saying? And these white boys try to run back. But what they don't tell you is like they wasn't just going out. At some point, they got fed up and started shooting back. And most of the time, most of this violence stopped when they got shot back. It wasn't only black people that got killed, because black people did shoot back in this instance, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna play just a quick video of it from this brother.
The Hamburg Massacre occurred on July 8th, 1876, in a small town of Hamburg, South Carolina. On July 4th, black militia was engaged in military exercises when 2 white farmers, Thomas Butler and Harry Gitson, attempted to pass through.
Now, I'm gonna play that one more time because this might be the last time in my lifetime I hear black people training for military combat, you know what I'm saying, or military exercises in the same sentence.
When 2
for our own issues.
White farmers, Thomas Butler and Harry Gitson, attempted to pass through. After an argument, the white farmers got through without incident. This event provided the excuses for whites to suppress black voting through violence. July 6th, Thomas and Henry brought a formal complaint of obstruction of a public road before the local court in Hamburg. The case was postponed until July 8th. Thomas demanded that the Hamburg Militia Company be disbanded. By this point, hundreds of armed white men, including many who were members of various rifle clubs, marched towards the small black community. Militia members retreated to a stone warehouse, which they used as their armory. Surrounded and outnumbered, 25 militiamen and 15 Hamburg residents fought back from the armory. By the afternoon, a white attacker and a militiaman lay dead. A cannon was brought over from Augusta and was fired at the armory, creating a hole. Black militia and Hamburg town marshal James Cook attempted to flee. Cook was shot and killed. The rest of the militiamen and the townspeople were captured in the armory. 4 of them were quickly executed by the white mob. The rest were allowed to flee or were gunned down by the whites. 7 men died that afternoon. 6 were black militiamen or civilians, and 1 was a white farmer killed in the attack on the armory. Although majority of the victims were black, Wade Hampton, an ex-Confederate general who would run for governor as a Democrat in a fall election, used Hamburg Massacre to remind the mostly white voters across the state of racial danger of Republican-controlled government. Hampton and the Democrats won the election. And if
All right, so yeah, so then you get to that. So that was the end of Reconstruction, which is an interesting period. I think we should study, which is because I didn't even hear it, the what's it called? The Redeemer governments, you know what I'm saying? Will they reinstall Redeemer governments and stuff like that? You know what I'm saying? So then you know, just to move on, because after Redeemer governments, then you know, with the lynching and stuff, it got all crazy. But after Redeemer governments, the KKK disappeared, you know what I'm saying? For the first time. They came back, but they disappeared. But, you know, so then in 1881, on 4th of July, it says here, Tuskegee Institute was founded 4th of July, 1881. But the school was just for like black teachers and nurses and stuff like that. So black people were still out here building stuff, you know what I'm saying? Now the whole Booker T. Washington conversation is an interesting one because you know, some people at this time, you know, I know even people like Ida B. Wells didn't really like what he was saying, you know what I'm saying? When he was like, yo, don't fight back against lynching. But then, you know, upon other information, you know what I'm saying, they said he was actually funding and doing other things with black militia groups, you know what I'm saying? But we see even then there was the black militia. So then you have the Tuskegee Institute. So then you know, the next thing. So then we get into the 1900s and black people. But now you have the Jack Johnson and Jim Jeffries riots, you know, the Jack Johnson riots of 1910, which happened on the 4th of July after Jack Johnson beat the Great White Hope, you know what I'm saying? And many white people felt humiliated. But you know what? Black people was out there. They had, I guess they had that day, they had a good reason to celebrate because the Great White Hope just got humiliated and destroyed, you know what I'm saying, and beaten by Jack Johnson. So in all of these cities, you know what I'm saying, there was riots, you know what I'm saying, just because there was mad black people celebrating. But don't think that these black people wasn't out there knowing what's up, armed and fighting back, you know what I'm saying? So you know, just to celebrate Jack Johnson's 4th of July. And Bakari, I want you to see like when you get knocked out. No, I'm joking though, but so I want you to, I'm gonna play the Jack Johnson. So this is 4th of July 1910, you know what I'm saying? This is what's going on.
June 1910, Reno, Nevada. 300 workmen are constructing a 22,000-seat arena for the fight of the century. It's the first time a boxing venue is built to house one single fight. Former champion Jim Jeffries is back in training. And it's not just for the 101.
And by the way, he said, I'll beat this nigga, or my name isn't Jim Jeffries, but that's not his actual, or I think his name is Nick Brusso. It might be him or the other dude, but I think his name is Brusso or something like that. I think it's him though.
$1,000 purse. He's got something to prove. His opponent is the current world champion, 32-year-old Texan Jack Johnson. 2 years earlier, in Sydney, Australia, Johnson beats Tommy Burns to become the first black man to win the
No, yeah, it was Tommy Burns, my bad.
World heavyweight title. But the idea of a black world champ upsets white America. Jim Jeffries is quoted as saying, he's fighting to prove that a white man is better than a Negro. The fight is so significant that in an era when filming is still rare, even the build-up is captured. 20,000 people from all over America have the time and the money to flock to Reno, paying $10 and up, around $240 today. And on the 4th of July, 1910, an almost entirely white male crowd fills the stands.
All of them and Bakari wanted to see Jack Johnson lose on this fight.
Jeffries, billed as the Great White Hope, refuses to shake Johnson's hand. Jeffries starts aggressively. But Johnson is a superior fighter. And Jeffries soon tires. In the 15th round, Jeffries is knocked down for the first time in his career.
Now, hold on, y'all. What y'all can do the count with me, because we can count to 12 and see if they go count them out or not, or 16 or whatever the count is. Let's count.
In the 15th round, Jeffries is knocked down for the first time in his career. And then put through the ropes before he finally quits. Jack Johnson is victorious, undisputed as heavyweight.
All right, so I'm gonna just play the end of that fight because I want y'all to hear the announcers too. It was kind of funny. It was hurt. So I'm only playing the end, not even the whole 3 minutes, just the last minute.
15.
A vicious uppercut and 3 stinging lefts. Jeffries goes down. Get up, Jeff. Get up. Johnson moves in, but Rickard waves him off. Slowly, Jeffries rises. Johnson unloads a thunderous left, and Jeffries goes through the rope. Emotions waive the rules as Jeffries is helped to his feet. Johnson moves in to finish it. Jeffries finally collapses from a combination of blows. Stop it. Stop it, they scream. Johnson wants more, but Tex Rickard signals the end. The Great White Hope. Humiliated. Beaten. Betrayer of his race.
Damn. Great White Hope. Beaten. Humiliated. Betrayer of his race. Because he couldn't beat this black man. But you know what I'm saying? That's what happens to... So anytime anybody mentions a Great White Hope, just have this thought in your mind.
The Great White Hope. Humiliated. Beaten. Betrayer of his race.
All right, so you know what I'm saying, that victory right there led to the Jack Johnson riots of 1910 on the 4th of July, you know what I'm saying, all those years ago. I hate Bakari. I'll put the link in the chat if you got something to say about Jack Johnson. I'm just talking about boxing because that's all we was ever talking about. I'm just saying, look at the times they counted, you know what I'm saying. We could have counted the, what, a minute or so? And they slowed it down and had it, you know what I'm saying, skipping and stuff. And he knocked him down about 6-7 times in a row. Like, I don't know. And he wanted him to get back up. That's the thing. He wanted him to get back up so he could punish him because he was the Great White Hope. You know what I'm saying? And that's an important thing that you have to do. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. So, you know, so then we get to, we already know about all of the rest of the stuff about history. You get to, you know, the 1900s and the new Negro era, you know what I'm saying, where black people shot back, you know what I'm saying, we would shoot back all of that, the 40s and 50s. Then we came to the civil rights and stuff like that. So the last thing before we get to modern day times, to black history that happened on the 4th of July, the Ashbury riots, you know what I'm saying, in 1970, which started on the 4th of July, you know what I'm saying? So, what is that, 52 years ago on the 4th of July, this was going on in New Jersey. So, let me play this.
Well, I hope the worst is over. Let me say it that way. We always live in hope, but we fear for the worst, you know. But I really do hope that the worst is over.
I feel that we've been playing around all the morning. But what I'm really after is not whether or not they are charged or not, but the question is whether we are going to release them because we know the charges are illegal. They are people who were assigned. 75 or 85% of them were people whom we asked to volunteer themselves violently to help keep peace in our community, and because they were keeping peace, they are in jail, and I'll never go for anything short of it. Nothing.
Just 1 minute. If you say, Willie, that those people were out there for the purpose of trying to help you to quell the situation, right? Some of them? All right. Why don't you come up at that time and point out to who they were so we can recommend to the judge? I don't know. That's the reason I say that.
The Middletown Police Department, sir, the Middletown Police Department. Now, every gentleman in here, every black gentleman that asked me to go out there and give my body, they're going to come to court and testify to the fact that I was legally, now you're talking about legal, I was legally given the authority to talk to the people. This cop took me and laid me down. Now, I don't have to lie, but you can see it. I mean, now, if I did any kind of fraud, fighting back, the man would have shot me. Because when the little kid threw a bottle at him, they just turned around and shot point blank in the bushes. Now, if I had hit any cop, this is common logic. If I had hit you, and your life is in jeopardy, and you had something to protect yourself, what would you do?
Now, one question I have from that is like, what the hell is legally when it comes to black people? We're like, yo, legally is this, legally is that. What the hell is legally? Is it something that, I mean, that's a whole nother conversation. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, I can go on and on about like the history of the 4th of July, but you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to kind of go through that real quick. What up, Bill Gates? What's going on, my brother? So those was just some of the events that happened on the 4th of July, and there was a whole lot more, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I give y'all a reason to walk around and celebrate, you know what I'm saying? Use y'all fireworks and stuff like that. But I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not that much of a reason, you know what I'm saying? So if any of y'all got anything to say about the about, you know, anything about what I just showed about the history of it, you can come on and say something. Yo, Bakar, you can come on and defend why you was rooting for Jack Johnson to lose against the Great White Hope. But it's not, I'm just joking, my brother. But if not, then I'm gonna go on to the next part. Now, as far as this modern day celebration, you know what I'm saying, and how we look, because I want to show y'all how it all sounds to me when I be hearing us argue about each other. You know what I'm saying? This is how y'all sound to me. It may be funny to y'all, it may irritate y'all, but you know what I'm saying? This is what I hear when I hear y'all arguing about dumb things. You know what I'm saying? So, and I got to shout out my good brother for playing this one. And I would shout out my brother channel a lot more, but I know he want the right viewers, not just anybody. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my good brother MD2 for playing this video. I had to add this one in there. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to you, MD2. But, you know, let me go ahead and play this video.
Members of that group allegedly attacked a man here near Copley Square on that Saturday afternoon. The Civil Rights Unit of Boston Police is now investigating, and the victim of the assault is speaking out.
Another man done gone.
Charles Morrell evoking a song written long ago about African-American repression. Now this Boston street artist was the victim of an assault.
I have always used art as a means of resistance.
Saturday, a group believed to be connected to Patriot Front, a designated...
I'm sorry, I'm gonna play that one more time. This is how y'all sound to me, though. I'm just saying.
Of Boston Police is now investigating, and the victim of the assault is speaking out.
Another man done gone.
Charles Morrell evoking a song written long ago about African-American repression. Now this Boston street artist was the victim of an assault.
I have always used art as a means of resistance.
Saturday, a group believed to be connected to Patriot Front, a designated hate group, paraded through the city of Boston, some carrying shields, their faces concealed, their shirts reading, "Reclaim America."
In Boston, we have no time for hate.
Part of the assault on Morrell captured in a photo. He told police he was first shoved around, eventually knocked down, then...
By the way, you see how they made their own symbols and they probably got their own language? You know, we could have been spending a lot of time making our own language, like an alphabet or something we can communicate with each other. You know what I'm saying? At least, at the very least, a symbol that we know. I see this sign that I got help. You know what I'm saying? I know that there's going to be a like-minded person Not a person who I got to convince, not a person who I have to beg to do something, not a person who I have to teach something, but somebody who already knows the deal. And this is a safe space for me in case of an emergency. You know what I'm saying? But we have spent a lot of time not creating a language, trying to perfect someone else's, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I always got to say, I'm sorry if I haven't mastered the King's English, you know what I'm saying? But nobody really came at me about my language or whatever. But, you know, like there comes a time where you have to take the time to create your own letters, alphabet, whatever, even if you base it off something that we can only understand right now, you know what I'm saying? So like they taking the time to do that, and they're on their "You Will Not Replace Us" campaign right now. So
He told police he was first shoved around, eventually knocked down, then hit and kicked. Morrell suffered cuts to his hand, his head and face, requiring stitches.
I am appalled that even as a healer, I have to get my cup poured into in this incident. But in this incident, I will continue to pour into others people's cup as a way to pour into my own cup.
Morrell
now you may laugh at what he says, but that's what you were saying to me when you be like, you know, I got to be friends with everybody. This Rainbow Coalition mindset that we got everybody, you know, let's go out here and celebrate the 4th of July so we can get beat up at these rallies. You know what I'm saying? That's what y'all sound like arguing. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all need y'all cups filled or something.
Appalled that even as a healer, I have to get my cup poured into in this incident. But in this incident, I will continue to pour into others people's cup as a way to pour into my own cup.
Morrell did not address the incident specifically, but hopes to use his art as a call to action in an upcoming concert on Copley Square.
And offering them a way to have a conversation about something this country has not opened up the dialogue yet.
Boston's black leaders say the city must do more to stop these groups.
So the fact that the children of the KKK would come to Boston and march brazenly across the street does not surprise us.
Reverend Peterson and other leaders.
And unfortunately, the reaction that we have to it does not surprise me. You know what I'm saying? That's the crazy part about it. The reaction, it's the same reaction over and over. You're right, it ain't gonna stop until you stop it. At the end of the day, and the response that we have to the same old thing, it is crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? But we are still those same people out there singing like it's gonna make us a change. Like we might as well be singing while you setting off your fireworks right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I got my dog hiding in the closet right now because y'all want to be celebrating something that ain't got nothing to do with you. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't even one the person to judge. You can do what you want to do, but at least have the right context for it. You know what I'm saying? So speaking of that, speaking of this independence, you know what I'm saying? This black veteran, because I remember about a year or two ago that half black and half I think Hispanic or some veteran in Virginia got profiled, and that was a huge case. But there's another black brother, a brother who not too long ago just got profiled, another veteran who has bled for the freedom of someone else. Just imagine if our energy has went into the trying to get our own system this whole time. What would we be if we put our energy in the right place? But let me go ahead and play this one.
We're stopping a black man, profiling I would say, and he was leaving a 7-Eleven in a suburban Dallas-Fort Worth area convenience store. And essentially they were claiming that he broke a parking law. Well, the retired veteran, and also he happened to be a police academy graduate. His name is Michael McQuee, and he really seemed to expose these officers for profiling him. Watch this.
We see some ID.
No, what for?
I just asked you.
What's your probable cause to ask me for ID?
It does not have a handicap placard.
Read the plate, man. You don't even know what you're talking about. DV, that's disabled veteran plate. We can park in handicapped spots.
Let me see some ID, please.
No.
I have never seen anybody wear a police academy
That's your
graduation
business.
after
That's
they
your business.
graduate.
I wear it all the time. Do my training. Now I can do that. because I'm a graduate, I can wear the uniform.
Have
I
you
can
been
wear it.
certified as a peace
Of course.
Now, this is a lot of explaining, even though he's not explaining, but you ain't even got to tell him I wear it to do my training. It's none of your business. Get out of my face.
My certification. What are you talking about? Why don't you run the plate? Why don't you run the plate? Run the plate, man. I gave you permission. And what did you see? You had to see the certification. Contact T-Cole. Why don't you contact them? You saw my name. Call T-Cole.
TCOL stands for Texas Commission on Law Enforcement, which serves as the regulatory agency for all peace officers in Texas.
Run it. Run it. Call T-Cole. But you have no justification of probable cause to run up on me. Yeah.
Who was the academy director when you were there?
Contact them.
Asking all these questions, basically saying, let me see your freedom papers. That's exactly what he's doing. And also he could have looked at his license plates that would have had that DV indicator. That just shows you all they're trying to do is punk this black man. And so essentially after confirming the man's certification and everything else that they could have easily done by running the plates, well, Mr. McQuee, excuse me, he rightfully lectured these officers for profiling him. Check this out.
Did you check T-Code? Did you call them?
Now, here comes the explaining that we like to do to everybody to explain why their actions is wrong, when obviously they do it to maintain the system and it hasn't led them astray yet. But I don't know if we're going to realize that explaining is not going to do anything.
Barrel?
He did call him.
Okay, so then, you're feeling small now, aren't you?
No, not a bit.
You shouldn't run up on people. You have no probable cause. If you wanted to follow me and run my plate, you could have done that.
Talk to anybody?
No, well, I don't have to talk to you.
And you did.
I don't have to talk to you. That's right. I already told you that. Waste my time and you. You're supposed to be a captain, and you don't know the disabled plates have a right to park in a parking spot. And you violating people's rights. I don't care what he says.
Are you a peace officer?
I have T-Code certification. I have T-Code certification. Yes, I do. That's when you checked it.
Expired.
Who says who? My certification doesn't say expired. You want it to be expired because you see brown skin. So take a walk. Walk of shame. You understand? And learn the law. And learn the law. And learn the law. And you better have probable cause before you run up on somebody in uniform. You don't have no reasonable suspicion because I'm on the same side as you.
No, you aren't.
I have T-Code. I am a graduate of the police academy. Okay, just like you years ago, you probably couldn't even pass the test. Right now, you go. You get going. So go learn the law before you start teaching young people how to do the job. You're a bad example to the young fella over there. You don't even know the rules of parking.
All right, so while they learn the law, we should probably learn how to create our own laws, you know what I'm saying? And ways to enforce said laws, you know what I'm saying? But that goes out to all the veterans out there, you know what I'm saying, to celebrate Independence Day. But, the reason why I call this one the new Minority Report, the new Moynihan Report, is because, now a lot of black people, especially at the time, I don't know about now, maybe they still do, they tried to, and this is that whole left-wing thing, the Democrats and all of that stuff, you know what I'm saying, how they try to portray. Now, they use their own racism, right, to say, oh, black people are savage and are this and are that, but it's because of what we done. You know what I'm saying? That's the only difference. See, they're just going to skip over that. Most black people aren't these things. You know what I'm saying? The stereotypes are true about us. That's what they say. But we argue that things like this is allies and our friends, and we use them for our debates and arguments against them. But things like this need to go. But anyway, here is these videos. I'm gonna just play these next couple videos in a row. These videos kind of make me think of it. So this GOP candidate went into a quote unquote racist tirade.
I don't think of myself in any way as a racist. Okay, I go out there and I've been fighting for a few years now for 34,000 kids in our school district. I can't get the black leadership to adopt policies that would help those kids. I mean, basic logic, because the black people deserve better. They shouldn't be held captive in our inner cities. They shouldn't be held hungry and dumb, okay, so as to provide a base for the Democratic Party. That's what's been going on. You can't teach them differently because they've been so conditioned to think that way. And that is so wrong. And I'll fight.
So that is congressional candidates things. And he believed that he had not. And so he defended himself by saying a bunch of stuff that I think you can. He says it's not surprising that CNN, who surfaced the Democrat policies have failed black voters and taken them for granted, which is why Republicans have a historic opportunity to win huge this November. I am proud of the work I did for Buffalo schools, turning around an underperforming district and investing resources in predominantly African-American areas. So here
now have they failed black voters? Yeah, absolutely. Should we be trading one plantation for another? I'm not so quick to say that, you know what I'm saying? Now, these same people, right? Now, this is the reverse Moynihan Report, you know what I'm saying? Because what they do is they say, you know, okay, yeah, these things are true. And they also use these things to disarm black people, you know what I'm saying? To say black people are criminals and to pass these gun rights. But for them, you know what I'm saying, this is, you know what I'm saying, how they justify what they do. And a lot of black people jump on that bandwagon, not seeing that this is just a reverse Moynihan thing. Like, yeah, black people are savages, but it's because of the Democrats. See, the Democrats used to say, no, they're savages because of the Republicans, right? This is two sides to the same thing.
that we get to this, because I previewed it and it's so crazy. So Palladino, again, congressional candidate. And New York congressional candidate, one of the areas where supposedly the Republicans are still a little bit more reasonable. He said that he would like to see Michelle Obama, quote, return to being a male and let loose in the outback of Zimbabwe, where she lives comfortably in a cave with Maxie the gorilla. And that he hoped Barack Obama would die of mad cow disease after having sex with a cow. Which I'm not sure
how
that's
you
how
get
you
mad
get it.
cow disease. It's
Don't
a
think that's it.
prion. It's a certain type of cell that you can't even cook.
All right, so yeah, I don't really care about what they got to say, but yo, that's the mindset of both sides of the thing. So why not create your own thing so we can actually celebrate real independence of self-autonomy? I understand that that whole thing takes work. You know what I'm saying? It takes effort. It takes us doing a lot of different things. But the fact that we have to argue about somebody else's politics sets us behind. The fact that somebody else is dictating holidays, somebody can tell us, oh, well, we'll give you Juneteenth. Neither side is for us. We are the only ones that we have. We are all we got at the end of the day. We have no friends. You have to build your own. Because if you don't, and you know you don't have anything politically to use as a tool to have a say if that's what you want to do. But first, politics starts with being able to enforce whatever rules, laws, and regulations that you set forward and making sure nobody gonna violate you. But, you know, speaking of election stuff, you know what I'm saying? I want to show you what another GOP, just in case we think that one side is better than the other, like it's not two sides to the same coin. You know what I'm saying? Let me show you this, what happened with a GOP candidate assaulted a black woman at this abortion rally, because I know we like to get involved in a whole lot of other things and situations. So a cop who's running for a political office actually punched a black woman in the face, and she's running for the same office, so they're competing in the next election, and he punched her in the face. Now you see this cop who is running for a political position, and he's competing with this sister for the same position. And you know what I'm saying, he ended up getting punching this sister in the face, and what he got was paid vacation. Right? Because even with a video, they still be like, yo, we don't have enough evidence. Now, all it takes is you looking suspicious. But, you know what I'm saying? It don't matter if this sister was a political candidate. It is what it is. But I'm going to keep going with these videos because it was some more to these GOP candidates. And this was another one that called a Pentagon chief the N-word.
Someone. It is David Dietrich. I'm going to tell you in advance, bit of a spoiler alert. He really sucks. Here's a picture of him. He was, until recently, and that's the good news, I suppose, the former chairman of the Hampton, Virginia Electoral Board. There's David Dietrich right there. So former chairman. That's the good news. Why? Well, it's because people discovered that he had gone on an incredibly racist rant, and a violent rant at that, targeting Black members of the military. So we're going to put up his rant and focus on a few little parts of it. He had said on Facebook back in February of 2021, again, this guy who has political power over an electoral board in Virginia. This situation with the United States military is getting more disgusting and dangerous by the day. So he gets mad at Lloyd Austin for wanting to ferret out white nationalists. And he says, David Dietrich says, that means he wants to get rid of conservative, freedom-loving Americans from their roles. I'm not saying those are the same thing. He's saying that those are the same thing. He then attacks another member of the military and says that the guy sounds like a Black nationalist. And that's where it takes an even worse turn, saying these so-called leaders are so vile and racist, there's no way to describe them other than in terms their own people understand. They are nothing more than dirty, stinking, and then he throws in the most vile racial slur in American politics.
Now, for all of you veterans out there celebrating this good old 4th of July and wouldn't dare take a knee or nothing like that. Now, this Secretary of Defense, 4-star general, right, said they are trying to stop white nationalists from joining the military. In other words, they want to stop freedom-loving conservative Americans. But I wouldn't limit it to conservative because they're on both sides. Let's be real. Like the KKK isn't a Democrat thing; it's an American thing. You know what I'm saying? So a Black dude talks about probably some kind of injustice or a Black person he don't think should be killed, and he was called a Black nationalist. And these so-called leaders are so vile and racist. You know what I'm saying? Which is a compliment if you are serious about what you want to do. And he said they're nothing more than dirty, stinking N-words. That's how he feels.
Bear in mind, he's worried about racist people in the military, and then he throws out the forced into a corner by these enemies of the people.
So he thinks we're forcing them into a corner, which would be great when we do, but this is how they will respond.
If it's a civil war they want, they will get it in spades. Perhaps the best way to pull us back from the brink is a good public lynching. Now, thankfully, once this...
Now, so there you go. The former Secretary of Defense said the thing to pull them back is a good public lynching. You know what I'm saying? According to him. Oh, wait, no, hold on. It's one more. So, yeah, let me play this other video that go with it. And this is the last one for this one.
Story you'll see only on 10, a major shakeup on the peninsula tonight. The Republican-appointed chair of the Hampton Electoral Board is under fire after several racist comments attributed to him surfaced on social media. The information you are about to see is extremely disturbing. Election Day is the culmination of year-round efforts of a 3-person electoral board. Last year, Republicans in Hampton recommended David Dietrich as chair, and the judge signed off on the selection. Dietrich made headlines in 2014 when he disrupted a city council meeting. now posts on a social media page in Dietrich's name have come back to haunt him. Regarding Joint Chiefs Chair General Mark Milley and critical race theory, a user from Hampton named David Dietrich wrote, "This derivation of the N-word, having so little self-esteem, actually told Congress that critical race theory is important as part of the military education of young officers. This pathetic piece of expletive." Regarding Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and retired General Russell Honore, both African Americans, a post read, "They are nothing more than dirty, stinking N-word. Perhaps the best way to pull us back from the brink is a good public lynching." Wednesday, Phil Sif, chair of the Hampton GOP, called for Dietrich's resignation, but
he refused to resign. And so we took the next step. And yesterday, I requested that the circuit court remove him because had we known of these posts earlier, we would never have recommended them.
in 2014, he was removed from city council chambers for disrupting a public meeting. That was hiding in plain sight.
Yeah, if that is the case, I haven't seen it.
Gayleen Knoyton is president of the Hampton NAACP.
So they telling me they recommended somebody without doing the research of who he is. But okay.
Clearly, you can Google his name and you'll see everything that comes back for years. He's attacked the school board. He's attacked city council.
So far, no response from David Dietrich, but I did hear.
All right, so yeah, pretty much. Yo, what's going on, Rashid? So, apparently they don't have, Google, because you can research his whole history. But yo, do you see how they stay on code and they protect each other? You know what I'm saying? Now, I know we want to fight and, celebrate and do all of this other stuff for other groups and, but yo, we do have to learn our lesson, you know what I'm saying? Because even the education, like we just went through a little bit of the history. But you heard there, they are against even the critical race theory, quote unquote. But we have to teach our children the truth, how they're seen around the world, how they're affected, how to make money, how to be owners of their own property, of themselves. And it's important. And I don't care if you call it, quote unquote, critical race theory. That's the thing you need to teach them if it's making them feel uncomfortable and scared. You need to teach it to your children because guess what? They're going to do the same thing to their children. So while we celebrating, this is what they're still doing today to the school curriculum. In the age of information, they still want to change the word slavery to involuntary relocation.
Certainly made its rounds on social media. The question swirling here is, what should Texas second graders be taught to call slavery?
State Board of Education today insisted that America's dark chapter will not be downplayed after we learned that the term involuntary relocation was rejected. Just so you know, there's been a lot of talk about it. This was, though, after a group had pushed for that term to replace the word slavery.
Still, as our Robbie Owens reports from Dallas, many are questioning why someone would want to get rid of the word slavery in the first place.
Slavery has been called America's original sin, dehumanizing, horrific. So why is the State Board of Education looking for a different word to describe it?
Let's call it what it is, right? Why are people so fragile that they cannot accept what actually happened?
Michael Sorrell is the parent of a second grade scholar, a descendant of slaves, and as president of Dallas's Paul Quinn College, he's also a vocal critic of efforts to weaponize curriculum and the culture wars over race.
Stop building nations, stop building cities, stop building movements on lies and just the simple fact that you are uncomfortable with the role that your ancestors played in the truth.
The latest social media flashpoint, a recommendation to replace the word slavery in second grade social study text. The Texas Education Agency and State Board of Education have turned to Twitter to insist that claims that involuntary relocation would be preferred were false. Both agencies confirmed the existence of a so-called working group that had been looking at changing the language of what we now call slavery.
Now, I applaud the State Board of Education, or the TEA, for rejecting this idea, but I also want to point out the language that was used. They sent people back to search for a different language. That's very different than sending people back with a message that we will not teach untruths.
But every child needs to know that truth, not just the Black children.
Well, no one benefits from being taught lies. For the majority of history, those who look different than white men have been treated poorly. These are facts. Right now, that doesn't mean we need to be imprisoned by them, but it also doesn't mean that you don't have to tell the truth.
In Dallas, Robbie Owens, CBS 11 News.
Right. So, instead of teaching critical race theory, what I'm saying, they're teaching that it was just involuntary relocation. Now, it's not my beef with them for teaching whatever. My beef is us not creating the development, the systems, the schools, and all of the above to replace that, and teaching our children the truth and how to defend yourself and that Black people shot back. We don't teach our children the truth. We're so busy trying to celebrate and appropriate other people's things. And that is going to continue to get us in trouble and to lead us down the wrong path. At some point, we got to learn that, our children's mind is the most important thing that there is. Right? Because I can tell you right now, I know I'm an 80s baby, and anybody who's my age, we're already done. So if you're older than me, you're done. But once we learn that it's okay and we should be fighting for the next generation in the minds of our children and not passing down the trauma that we have to our children, once we learn how to do that and the importance of that, then we can start to make adjustments. We can start to do more things. But right now, we are not on that level. All right, that's what's up, Ryan. But I'm gonna go on. So all right. So, and by the way, in other news, what I'm saying, I'm pretty sure y'all heard about the whole Brittany Griner thing, but today, right, they just put out, and they was talking about the 4th of July and stuff like that. And she wrote a letter to good old Joe talking about how she wants help. She needs help. She's still trying to get out of that jail, and she's still over there right now. And a lot of people aren't talking about it, or it's on the news and stuff. But they keep telling her we're doing everything we can, but they saying Joe Biden has the power to do whatever, but he's not. So let me play a little bit of this.
Are held in Russia since her February arrest is set to begin. The 31-year-old Phoenix Mercury player was arrested at a Moscow airport on allegations of attempted drug smuggling after Russian authorities claimed she had cannabis oil in her luggage. The U.S. State Department believes she is being wrongfully detained. Griner, who played in Russia during the WNBA's offseason, now faces up to 10 years in prison. In a CNN exclusive interview, her wife, Cheryl, spoke to our Abby Phillip. Cheryl Griner says Brittany is struggling and she's terrified.
It's really difficult. It's really, really difficult. This is not a situation where, the rhetoric is matching the action. And so I can't just take the fact that this is somebody's job to bring home my wife and go off grid and focus to that degree. I can't do that. I do have to, unfortunately, also push people to make sure the things that they're telling me is also matching their actions. And so it has been the hardest thing to balance because I can't let up because it's over 130 days and BG's still not back.
Do you trust that the maximum amount of effort is being put forward to bring BG home?
No, I don't. And I hate to say that because I do trust that the persons working on this are very genuine people. That I do believe. But I don't think the maximum amount of effort is being done because, again, the rhetoric and the actions don't match. You know, when you have a situation where BG can call our government, the embassy, 11 times, and that phone call don't get answered, you don't have my trust at that point until I see actions that are in BG's best interest. It would have been in her best interest for her phone call to have been answered. It would be in her best interest for her to be back on US soil. So until I see things like that, no.
I know that you've had some conversations with the Secretary of State and with other officials, but you want to talk to President Biden, right?
Absolutely. And the reason why is because I'm new to this, you know, so I'm no politician. I just graduated law school, so I can only, I can only do those things that are being told are beneficial for my wife. And the most beneficial thing that I've been told is that, you meet with President Biden. He has that power. He is the person, that ultimately will make that decision for BG to come home. And so while everybody else wants to tell me they care, I would love for him to tell me he cares.
What do you want to tell him? What, if you were to sit in front of him, what would you say, speaking directly to him?
Well, honestly, the first thing is I want to humanize my wife to him. BG, she's no politician. She honestly, didn't really get into this type of stuff when it comes to voting and all of that until, we got married. And obviously, I'm very, very, very big on, voting and all of, the legal processes and stuff in our system. And so this was her first year voting, so his ballot was my wife's first time.
She voted for President Biden.
She did. She made that conscious decision to trust in him and his administration.
There's talk of prisoner swaps being the.
All right, I'm gonna stop right there. So look, I know a lot of y'all, because a lot of people got a problem, you know what I'm saying, their sister is gay, you know what I'm saying. I heard you, Mr. Untouchable, whatever, and Ryan Carmichael. I hear what y'all saying, you know what I'm saying. But if y'all telling me that, you know what I'm saying, y'all put sexuality over, you know what I'm saying, blackness, you know what I'm saying, I get it, you know what I'm saying. But I know you probably do, Ryan Carmichael, because I'm pretty sure she got to be multiracial too. So she's your race is multiracial, you know what I'm saying. So, but look, you know what I'm saying. At the end of the day, a lot of y'all are just like her. A lot of y'all like, yo, I'm gonna avoid the political process. But then they vote for good old Joe Biden. Nah, it's all good, Mr. Untouchable. I ain't mad at you. You can feel what you want to feel. But, you know what I'm saying, for me, I don't put that, you know what I'm saying, like, I represent blackness first. Now, she's being held in another country. Yeah, that's the thing, though, Ryan. Like, that's what, you know what I'm saying. So now you got to identify yourself as black. But, she's multiracial like you. So you're not even down with other multiracials, you know what I'm saying? And the thing is, like, what are you putting first? Like, so are we saying that we're straight men? We're going to put straight people over, you know what I'm saying? It don't matter if they're black, you know what I'm saying? So we just about straight pride, you know what I'm saying? Like, now I'm a straight man, you know what I'm saying? But, I'm about black people, you know what I'm saying? And she's been over there for something that most of y'all do. So, okay, so you down with, you know what I'm saying, straight white dudes, straight Asian dudes over all multiracials then, Ryan. I got you. I mean, that's your prerogative, you know what I'm saying? Y'all would side with no matter what they are, as long as they straight, y'all good, you know what I'm saying? I got it, But I don't feel like it's cool that black people could believe, well, you know what I'm saying, that black people are held as political prisoners, and I don't care about their sexuality, you know what I'm saying? Now, I know a lot of black people have a problem with the gay community and all of that stuff, and like, that's everybody's thing. But yo, if we are black first, we are black first, you know what I'm saying? If we're not, then we're not. Like, that's up for people to decide. But the fact that she's held as a political prisoner over in a country going through something that most of y'all have this Ukraine flag flying, it makes me start to wonder, what are we really about? Because I don't care about what black person ideology, sexuality, none of that kind of stuff. And when it comes to being a political prisoner like that. Now, like y'all can say what y'all want to say, but I can make excuses too. I can say, yo, that oil she rubbed on her skin because of her injuries, because that's known to have a healing product, and a lot of athletes rub it on their skin. But you know, people feel how they feel about her. Y'all can say what y'all want about her. And Mr. Untouchable, Ryan, y'all can come on, or Bakari, you can come on and say what y'all got to say about Brittany Griner. But she's a political prisoner, and today she sent a letter talking about the 4th of July and good old Joe, because a lot of y'all, and that's what I'm saying. I don't agree with that. Now, see, when you force a black man to wear a dress, do I agree? Hell no. When you try to tell a black man he gotta wear a dress to make, that is a clear agenda. But when you showing this stuff on TV and, like, you know, certain situations, that's a clear agenda. Like, if every commercial is about a black dude and a white girl, or a black woman and a white dude, that's a clear agenda and something that I am against. But if a black person is killed, whether they was dating a white person like Dia Wilson or that other brother, you know what I'm saying? Because we can look at those other, right? So that's what I'm trying to figure out, Ryan. Like, what is your page? So are you just saying like just straight men? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I'm down with the, you know what I'm saying? I don't care if they with the Klan, you know what I'm saying? I'm straight all day. We all against the gay people. So we gonna team up with the KKK against the whatever, or are we gonna be about black people issues and getting up out the situation first? Yo, it is what it is, yo. Everybody can have their opinions. Right, because like when we start talking about who is on that same page, like now we got to start defining what that page is. So if you don't believe this and this, like, so now I'm not about you. Now if you're not a Pan African, or if you're an ADOS, or if you're this, if you're that, then you gotta hold your own nuts. You know what I'm saying? See, y'all don't have this. Y'all got this whole slippery slope when it comes to like, what are we about first? You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't agree with none of that stuff, but like, yo, if the person gets cheated, they get cheated. I'm gonna stand up for somebody like Sha'Carri Richardson, even though a lot of black men have a problem with that. Right, I feel you. But she's multiracial, Ryan. Aren't you pro multiracial? So she's one of yours. You would sell your own kind out based off what she does. Because you know what? I don't even care. I'm not going. Well, you know, it's a whole nother topic. But you know, she's over there and she's been locked up for a very long time for CBD oil. And you know, if y'all go over there, y'all be locked up a long time. And I want y'all to not sleep on the fact that how she wasn't so political, but her quote unquote girlfriend voted her or died to death. And now she voted for the very person who don't give a damn about her. And now the very person who told her she better get out there and vote is saying, well, I just need to know that he thinks she's a human. Yo, we need to start getting some political savvy, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna go to the next thing, because if y'all didn't hear today, there was a shooting in Illinois at a 4th of July parade. And I'm pretty sure all of y'all can guess who the suspect was, but some of y'all will make excuses for that though, because they're a straight male, I guess.
First and foremost, we're all grieving for the families and friends who lost loved ones today, those injured, and everyone impacted by this horrific, senseless, random act of violence. I served as the incident commander on scene. I was present at approximately 10:14 when this started. There was an active shooter incident that occurred in downtown Highland Park during our 4th of July holiday parade this morning. This was an active incident, and all individuals are still urged to shelter in place at this time. Highland Park Police and numerous federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies are searching for the suspect. The suspect is currently described as a male white, approximately 18 to 20 years old, with longer black hair, a small build, and wearing a white or blue t-shirt. A firearm has been recovered from the scene. We have secured the perimeter around downtown Highland Park and are continuing our searches. At this time, 24 people have been transported to Highland Park Hospital. 6 are confirmed deceased. Anyone with video, photos, or other evidence are urged to contact Highland Park Police Public Safety Dispatch at 847-432-7730. We will provide a tip line. This information will be in short order.
This morning at 10:14, our community was terrorized by an act of violence that has shaken us to our core. Our hearts go out to the families of the victims during this devastating time. On a day that we came together to celebrate community and freedom, we're instead mourning the tragic loss of life and struggling with the terror that was brought upon us. While we've all felt the burden of this terrible act, I want to pause and thank the first responders who ran towards the danger to render aid during this active shooter situation. We saw individuals who responded selflessly and put themselves at risk to save others. At this point, we know that 6 people have lost their lives, and we are grieving for them and their families, members of our community who came out to celebrate together and instead faced this terror. Another 24 have been transported to the hospital.
So from a scene management perspective, at this point, it is still a very active scene. Highland Park Police Department is leading this investigation as well as the apprehension efforts into the offender involved here. As the mayor said, as the commander said, we're asking everybody to stay indoors, stay vigilant right now. This person is not identified. By all means, at this point, this appears to be completely random. So with that, there have been questions that have been coming in. Are events safe tonight? That's up to each individual community to assess on their own, make that determination. But no, this person is not yet in custody. We have hundreds of police officers.
He said, they say, well, it's up to you. Yo, shouts out to you, Wanda. Yo, Wanda Chavis all day. Yo, what's going on? I'm glad you came through. It's been a while. So shouts out to you. You held me down for a while. So, yo, much respect. You know what I'm saying? And you said that's freaking crazy. Involuntary relocation. Right. That's all I'm trying to show y'all, you know what I'm saying, that the things are possible, you know what I'm saying, but until we get to that point, you know what I'm saying, but even while we celebrate somebody else's holiday, understand that they are planning this big coup on America that we are starting to see the beginning stages of. They are planning to, like they say, restore their whatever it was, however they feel was the best time for them. They are planning to restore that, to take over the government. They are planning their own thing while we're out here celebrating. And you think these mass shootings are just random and just keep happening, and whether it's real or not, understand that even if you get on these platforms and these games and these all of this stuff, they are literally taking the time while we are arguing with each other. They are taking the time to communicate, to form groups, to make plans, to get on the same page, even through these video games. Like, you hear them how they act when they think nobody can identify them. Yo, the truth is they say the truth in these comments where they can be hidden, and on Facebook where you're not in their face. They say the truth. And they are planning all of this stuff, and it's not an accident that all of this stuff is happening. When it is, you better start being prepared and protecting yourself. Because they are obviously okay with doing whatever they have to do to maintain a certain system and a certain level of fear in place. And while we try to lecture each other about what the right thing to do, the good thing to do, they are worried about maintaining power and control. So let me show the next one. Because this white girl, now she is making posts to threaten to shoot black people at a Walmart in Alabama. And y'all need to see what happened to her after these
Alabama
threats.
says she's going to kill all the N-words in Walmart, and she gets a $500 fine. So let me go ahead and put up both pictures here. It's interesting. You got two people involved. So one, you got a 20-year-old white woman who is facing a misdemeanor disorderly conduct charge.
Now, I know a lot of y'all have a problem with these black women, but y'all make excuses for these, your precious white girls, you know what I'm saying? And Bakari's words, you know what I'm saying? Y'all the modern day Jack Johnsons on that behalf, because outside the ring, I'm not talking nothing about him. I was only talking about knocking somebody out, because Bakari seems to think that, you know what I'm saying, they're not going to cheat us or whatever, and you shouldn't be prepared for that. But I know a lot of y'all going to make excuses for these precious white girls, even though she probably shoots you down while you celebrate the 4th of July.
After making a post on social media suggesting that she will commit violence against black residents of Tuscaloosa. 20-year-old Sydney Angela Holder on the left allegedly posted on social media that she wanted to shoot an N-word in Walmart. That's what she said. Another woman, 20-year-old Emily Elizabeth Cornett on the right, was also charged with a misdemeanor disorderly conduct in relation to the incident. They could have been charged with felonies. They were not. The Tuscaloosa Police Department charged Holder Thursday and Cornett Friday, with bond for both women set at a whopping $500. As of last Friday, Holder had been released after posting bond. Let's put up a picture of the police department. That's them. That is their official Facebook Tuscaloosa Police Department photo. Notice anything there? Holder is a nursing student at Shelton State Community College, a community college located in.
There's one biracial woman there.
Tuscaloosa. Put up a picture of the college inside the.
According to y'all, she black.
College. All right. It's a nice college, actually. The college said in the statement, and I quote, Shelton State Community College is currently working with the Tuscaloosa Police Department regarding a recent racial media incident. Racial media incident. I think that's called a terrorist attack and a racially motivated terroristic threat. The college is fully participating with law enforcement's investigation and is dedicated to upholding its institutional values, integrity, accountability, respect, and responsiveness. Shelton State remains committed to maintaining a safe environment for all. Now, here's the thing. I've been a college professor since 2016. We've had things like this happen before, where a student has done something egregious and racist outside of the classroom, off of campus, and we made a decision as an institution to disallow that individual from continuing to matriculate because you have an opportunity to fight racist student on campus. There's more. The Tuscaloosa County branch of the NAACP addressed the incident in a statement posted to Facebook. They said, and I quote, the NAACP was notified late today of a video posted by a nursing student at Shelton State Community College depicting the student with a firearm making a domestic terroristic statement. In the video, the student can be heard saying that she'll shoot N-word in Walmart. Upon learning of the existence of the video, we immediately consulted with the school's administrators. We learned that law enforcement had been notified and that the college is cooperating with local officials and actively addressing the situation. When is the college going to say?
All right, so you got y'all precious white girls threatening y'all. Now, I know y'all is not going to have as much smoke as y'all do for black women for them. You know what I'm saying? So while they probably poisoning y'all and strangling y'all in y'all sleep, well, this white girl just said, I'm going to just go to Walmart and shoot me an N-word. But I understand because we only got smoke, but you know what? She's straight too, so we'll give her a pass too. You know what I'm saying? But this inclusion of trying to have everybody included in our groups, in our situation, yo, at some point you're going to realize that it's going to do nothing but backfire on you. You know what I'm saying? Now they're going to be out there protecting her, a $500 bail. But a black woman could get beat down in the street. You'll be find every reason to say why she deserved it and why I'm not gonna do nothing to protect her. You think they're gonna be like, yo, I don't have no reason to protect this crazy white girl talking about shooting the N-words and no. They probably agree with it. But they will never let somebody of their own, especially one of y'all precious white girls, be punished for any kind of threat to a Negro. Especially now, they can't afford to do anything to no white girls because, you know, half of them probably can't give birth. But I know that probably offended a lot of y'all, you know what I'm saying, coming at you. But while these white girls can make these threats, black women walking around Kroger is unprotected, and then we wonder why they're saying the things that they say. And we make excuses to why they deserve what they get, quote unquote.
Tonight, a Kroger security guard is under fire for allegedly racially profiling 3 different black women in separate interactions, assaulting one of them and yelling racially insensitive remarks at another. Fox 26's Gabby Hart joining us live from that Kroger on 249 in Antoine. And Gabby, I know you spoke with those women today.
I did, Jonathan, and we actually have video of all 3 interactions. One of them shows the security guard dragging a special needs woman from the grocery store. Another video shows the security guard admitting that he just called a female customer black and ugly.
You just said I'm black and I'm ugly.
On June 21st, Shalandra Peavy recorded this interaction inside of the Kroger on 249 and Antoine. She says she couldn't carry any more items in her hands, so she dropped some of them in a clear Kroger produce bag and continued shopping. That's when she says the Allied Universal Security Guard seen in this video accused her of stealing.
He walked up to me. He said, I guess you're going to go up front and try to exchange that, huh? I said, if that's what you feel, then you wait until I get up front.
Just 2 months earlier, on April 13th, Stephanie Teal, a woman with special needs, had a run-in with the same security guard.
I don't know where you're pulling me. Why is he doing this to me?
Stephanie was with her cousin, Kamisha Sterling, when she opened a Kroger burger inside of the store and started eating it. Sterling says she had every intention of paying for it when they got to the register. But the security guard approached them, an altercation ensued, and eventually he pepper sprayed and dragged Stephanie from the store.
Please don't let him take me out. I cannot see. Please, someone.
1 month later, Stephanie's cousin recorded yet another interaction with the same guard. This time, he followed her from the store and accused her of stealing.
What's up? You have something in your bag?
He's RoboCop working at Kroger on steroids, looking for black women that he can harass. He should be terminated, and he also should be arrested.
Community activist Quanell X and Dr. Candace Matthews got word of these incidents, and they went to the Kroger to speak with that security guard.
Let him know we came looking for him, and let him know that we watching him.
Baby, it's about to get ugly because we finna bring the hammer of accountability all the way here to this doggone Kroger's, and you gonna lose your job.
And it's important to note that none of the women involved were charged or arrested for shoplifting. We did receive a statement from.
Yeah, now I don't know what is going on with that Rainbow Coalition thing that she was talking about. But apparently, you know what I'm saying, that's the thing. You know what I'm saying? There's a straight person, so it's cool. And I'm gonna stop right. What's going on, K Shaw? Yeah, they definitely learned it from their mom and dad, Bobby, right? But you know, so apparently this white boy is in a Kroger profiling and you know black women and stuff like that. And I know we'll make a bunch of excuses why we let like that last white girl pass. Now we gotta hold this black woman accountable because it's her fault and all that stuff. That's a lot. That's the thing that a lot of us want to say. And I know that is maybe controversial, but people who have that anti-black male ideology, while I don't agree with it, and it's hard for even me to listen to it, I can't act like I don't see where it comes from. You know what I'm saying? With that, telling them it's their fault and us not doing the things that we need to do. I completely understand where that comes from and not protecting them. Yo, much respect, Wanda. And the fact that, and we can't even go to nowhere else because I'll tell you something, you know what I'm saying? Like a few months ago, like I got harassed or followed at a Kroger or whatever. And I was like, I'm not going to that no more. But you know what? It ain't no black grocery stores where I'm at to go to. And that's the issue. And that's why I'm like, yo, we have to get to the point where we are, or it would behoove us to do that. Because for me, yo, I'm pissed off at the fact that I cannot do anything about it. Because I was just walking around minding my own business. And I think was a biracial person told a black woman to follow me around the store who was a part of that security thing like that last person was. And they followed me around the store and I saw them following me. And then when I just ignored it, you know what I'm saying? For the most part, sometimes I even use it to my advantage. And I'd be like, yo, just show me where this is and this is why you following me. At least help me, you know what I'm saying? But even in that situation, once they followed me, I went to the thing to pay for everything. And as soon as I start walking out, this black person who was hired to profile me, you know what I'm saying, stop me and say, well, did you pay for this? You know what I'm saying? It was like something that was like $2 or something, out of like, all the money that I paid. It wasn't even a lot because I didn't even have a lot of stuff. But when I went to go pay for my stuff, the first thing this black person said was, oh, well, did you did you pay for this? And I'm like, yo, I have the receipt right here. And I know for a fact that if a black woman is profiling me in a Kroger, what do you think that somebody else is doing? But that doesn't anger us to the point. See, I'm not mad that they're profiling me in their stores. I mean, that's on them. If they want to let some white boy come in there and steal because they looking at me, that's on them. But it angers me that it doesn't make us mad enough to not want to go in their stores enough to create some kind of grocery store or bank or any of this stuff to counteract all of that. So we don't ever have to go into their store. So we don't ever have to be profiled. And then the times that we do, we're not going to sit there and go through somebody's background and see what they have done in the past. If they have a white boyfriend or girlfriend, if they're gay, before we defend who they are. Because you know what? If I was to do something to Jane Elliott, they're coming after me today. They're not going to be like, well, she was a turncoat who always talked about, black people is right about racism. No, they're locking me up for that because they realize the danger of letting one person get away with something is a slippery slope and it'll affect your whole group. And, that's a mindset and mentality that we have to start developing. You know what I'm saying? Now, we can decide what we want and what we're going to do, who we're going to be. But until we do that, then there's going to be a problem. Now, I only got one more to show, one more video to show. I'm gonna put the link in the chat if anybody want to come on and talk about anything they're saying before I get out of here. But I only got one more thing to show, and then I'm gonna go ahead and leave and let y'all get back to y'all hot dogs and hamburgers and y'all celebration and y'all sprinkler fireworks and stuff. So I know a lot of you know that we trying to raise money for what's going on down in Flint. I mean, not in Flint, but going on down in Alabama. You know what I'm saying? So you got I got the water crisis thing going on, and you know, I'm trying to raise enough money for at least, you know what I'm saying, one septic tank to help somebody. You know what I'm saying? For those of you who be like, yo, I'm not for pro-black stuff because it's not about doing, well, that's BS, because those people are not about action either. And for those of you who be like, yo, I don't want to do this because I need to know what that's BS, because you really don't want to challenge the fact that, you know what, I'm gonna make my ice colder than the white man's. You just gonna accept that the white man's ice is colder than yours. And we've been suffering with the same issues and the same problems, and nobody is going to ever come and save us but us. Now, we all know about what was going on in Flint, Michigan, but recently, you know, they just came out and said nobody was going to be indicted or get in trouble for what happened to the Flint water crisis. So, because you know what, Alabama isn't the only place. There's like 20-some cities that's as bad or worse than Flint, and I'm pretty sure those are just the ones that they are reporting, and it's a lot more. And I'm pretty sure the more blacker the area is, the more the problems are. But let me go ahead and play this one.
Twist in a Michigan crisis that gained national attention.
The Michigan Supreme Court dropping a bombshell in the Flint water crisis scandal. The court ruling the indictments against former Governor Rick Snyder and 7 others are invalid. It comes a year and a half after their arrest.
One of those charged was Michigan's former Department of Health and Human Services Director, Nick Lyon. He faced 9 counts of involuntary manslaughter.
7 Action News reporter Jim Kurtzner has followed the crisis since the very beginning. He joins us live tonight with where this massive case goes from here. Bombshell indeed, Jim.
That's right, Dave and Carolyn, and Nick Lyon is celebrating this ruling tonight. He said in a statement that he was being prosecuted for political purposes, that he and other state officials were doing a tough job under difficult circumstances, but this changes everything. It's far from over, and Nick Lyon may not be free and clear.
The Supreme Court said, Circuit Court, you got it wrong. You should have dismissed Nick Lyon's case.
For 3 years, Todd Flood was a special prosecutor under the previous Attorney General, presented evidence that former State Health Director Nick Lyon knew about deadly Legionnaire's disease with the tainted Flint water and failed to disclose it. He was sent to trial on charges of involuntary manslaughter.
Withholding information, corrupt, based upon misconduct in office for probable cause.
You saw everything there was. We were ready to go.
Then the new Attorney General, Dana Nessel, dropped all the charges and decided to start over, taking the cases against 7 people to a one-man grand jury and tried to go directly to trial. Former Governor Snyder charged with 2 misdemeanor counts of misconduct in office. Some appealed, saying they were denied a preliminary exam. The Supreme Court ruled Genesee County Circuit Court Judge Elizabeth Kelly should have granted that. When Nick Lyon said his charges should be dropped, the Supreme Court said Judge Kelly should have granted that. Lyon, in a statement today, I am grateful that the court took the extraordinary step of finding time to hear our case, and I am particularly satisfied that the decision to dismiss all the charges against me was unanimous. Flint mother and activist blames Attorney General Dana Nessel for firing Todd Flood and the previous team and dropping all the charges.
Especially charging Governor Snyder, there's going to be a lot of money, and our tax dollars, of course, going to fight all of these. So why wouldn't you do it in the best way possible?
From my understanding, that charges could still be reintroduced against several of them, and that would be our hope and desire.
Now,
yeah, so you know, as y'all see, you know, down in Flint, they're not even going to indict the people. Nobody who we know let the water be infected, and that's just what they do. They let the water be infected. You know what I'm saying? No, none of them people are going to be charged or none of that. And I'm gonna play this, and this is the last video for the night. But you know, this is the last topic, so this is the last video for this. You know what I'm saying?
Former Governor Snyder was called as a witness today in a civil trial in the Flint water crisis, but his appearance did not last very long. Our cameras caught him leaving federal court in Ann Arbor shortly after he invoked his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Grant Herms following the big developments in this case. Let's get to him. Grant.
Well, Devin, this was that civil lawsuit. At the center of it was the engineering firms brought in before the water supply switch over in Flint, but it's also a test case of what we could be seeing more of as these civil cases get brought against the former governor. Leaving federal court in Ann Arbor, former Governor Rick Snyder, who was on the stand in today's hearing, the early stages of a case surrounding the Flint water crisis. Snyder spending just 4 minutes in court today, pleading the fifth. The judge asking him if he planned to respond that way to all the questions. His answer? Yes. The judge previously ruling in this case, Snyder had waived his Fifth Amendment rights, but his lawyers appealed. That decision still being decided in the Sixth Circuit Court. At the center of the case are those engineering firms, Veolia North America and Lockwood Andrews and Newman, who said in court this week they plan to put the blame on the state and the city of Flint, accusing officials of callousness and bureaucratic contempt for Flint residents. The case comes just 2 days after the state Supreme Court wiped several charges from the case against Snyder and 8 others, dealing a major blow to the future of the state's case against the Snyder administration. In a deposition from 2020 played for the jury today, the former governor maintaining he was never made aware of lead in the water by those engineering firms, despite emails and testimony from his own staff dating back to 2015 that said he was warned. Now, ultimately, this is what's known as a bellwether trial or a test trial when there are multiple cases against the same.
All right, so as y'all can see, just like in Alabama, you know, the courts found no wrongdoing in our water being poisoned. You know what I'm saying? And it's especially worse in our communities. But we cannot expect nobody else to come and save us. At the end of the day, we are all we got. Until we are in the right mind to understand that, where their ideologies don't even matter, because I don't care about the people ideology in Flint, Michigan. If there are people who look like me, consider my people, and I know a lot of you don't like the term black, but yo, like I'll say for y'all, like y'all say, for conversation purposes, until we are down to protect other black people in our black communities and do the things that we have to do, there's going to be a problem. We're going to continue to get poisoned. It doesn't piss us off that our parents are dying from such young ages from diseases like diabetes, which is a recent phenomenon. And we don't even understand how deep the rabbit hole goes, how recent of a phenomenon that is in itself. It's a sick mentality that we do not conquer, and it keeps us in the same position. And then when it's time for us to do something, a lot of us make excuses to why we can't, why we don't want to. There's a lot of things that I want to do, but I started with something that is small, that is simple. Because you know what? Nobody's going to come in our communities and save us. And we can't talk about a stop hate crime bill if we can't even stop our water, our food, our everything from being poisoned. If there's no more baby formula in the store, and I get it, and that's a whole other topic, but food in the store, who do you think that's going to affect first and worse? Who do you think is going to not get that food? You could say poor people, but who is most of the poor people? And you can say why and all of that stuff. There's a whole list of reasons why. We went through a whole lot of that earlier, just looking at what happens on the 4th of July. Yeah, it's definitely a clear sign. But you know, until we are down to protect our own communities, like one of the black cities, they having money issues, and so white officials is trying to take the town. It's no different from those Redeemer governments that we saw. If we want to live our ancestors 40 acres and a mule theme and all of that stuff. You have to take that kind of stuff. You have to build on your own. And a lot of our own people, it's hard for us to go out there and speak because we don't have each other's back. We find every single reasons not to have each other's back. So before I get out of here, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna play what I'm trying to do for you know, down in Alabama with the water crisis. And we trying to raise money to help one person get a septic tank, because just like in Flint, Michigan, and they're saying they're not gonna help the people. Of course nobody is going to come and help us. We are the only people who are going to help ourselves. And that's the reason why we haven't been helped, because we aren't helping ourselves. Because you know what? You are a light-skinned person. You say the term black, you are more, you are a Hebrew Israelite, you are this, you are that. You are a feminist. You are Pan-African, you are ADOS. So I don't have to do anything to help you. But we don't even realize, because like, yo, you can look at it from a selfish point of view. Like, until you help that community that you're a part of, you can't help yourself. You can't have a certain amount of individual success. And if you think individual success is collecting dead pieces of paper with dead people who would have lynched you for having the beliefs that you have, that's a warped vision of it. Until you are willing and down to protect your own communities and do the things that you have to do. Yeah, about what? And I'm gonna play this last video. All right, good night, brother. So this is the last video, and like I said, we trying to raise money for what's going on in Flint, Michigan. And this is the video that I made about the water crisis and the GoFundMe link. And like I said, when you go to the GoFundMe, they try to get you to put extra money in for the site. You don't have to do that. I realized when I put my sister's money in that she put in, you know what I'm saying, I didn't have to add any extra money for a donation or nothing. So you don't have to add no donation money for GoFundMe. You can just put in whatever you want for the water crisis. And so let me show this video about what we're trying to raise this money for.
We turn now to a hidden crisis that's threatening lives in our most vulnerable communities. Many are living without things that most of us take for granted, like running water and sanitation. The new $1 trillion Infrastructure Act provides nearly $12 billion to fix that.
In a largely poor and
Yo,
black
how is
region of
there
rural
an ad on this when I don't have ads on my stuff? And I can't put an ad on it because they would try to say, you know, they would give me a strike for that. So how is it an ad on this video?
Sanitation. The new $1 trillion Infrastructure Act provides nearly $12 billion to fix that.
In a largely poor and black region of rural Alabama, many are living without adequate septic systems. It's creating a dangerous wastewater crisis that residents and activists describe as environmental racism.
It's really the waste that comes out of the septic tank. That's what it is. It's like the raw sewage that come out of your body. It's the odor, it's the smell, it's the raw sewage that comes out of a person's body. That's what it is. There's no other way to explain it. That's what it is.
And that is all over your yard?
Yes.
America in the 21st century hides its shame in the backyards of the rural poor. In Lowndes County, Alabama, Perman Hardy knows all about it.
When there's a lot of rain, you cannot flush the toilet.
And if you did, it would be all over your house.
Yeah. When it go bloop, bloop, get ready. Here it comes.
The dark green waters across from Jerry Dean Smith's home hold a foul-smelling mix of human waste.
It smells. It smells so bad.
In Haynesville, Alabama, and many towns across Lowndes County, residents pay for sewage to flow into these lagoons. But here, many homes have failing sewage systems or none at all.
You
you got waste running in people's yard, neighbors' yard. It backs up in the majority of these neighbors' homes. It backs up in the bathroom and on the floors.
In the unincorporated areas of this county, where Martin Luther King famously led the Selma to Montgomery March, there's no municipal sewage system. And for an estimated 80% of households, no adequate septic system either.
It backs up in the shower, backs up in the tub, gnats everywhere.
Raw sewage regularly flooded Kenneth Gordon's 83-year-old mother's house.
This the tub, the toilet that have most of the problems.
He had to move her out.
Were you concerned about your mother's health? Yes, very, very concerned about her health.
Residents like 78-year-old Catherine Canyon are just trying to survive in squalid conditions.
If I go in there, if it rains, and take a shower, or flush my stew, the waste coming back up, sometimes my kitchen sink. So I don't use dish, I use paper plates. It got me disgusted.
The sewage pooling below her trailer is rotting the floors. Recently, she says she broke her arm falling through the floor, but she can't afford to fix it or to move.
This is an area close to the lagoons. And the resident says when the red light goes off at the lagoon.
Yeah, and we want to help people like her. But let's go to what they were saying, just like we was.
Parasites. The only solution is a new system. But the hard clay soil here requires specially designed septic systems that can cost as much as the median household income in Lowndes County.
Every time it rains.
And they was like, yo, it could cost up to $10,000, you know what I'm saying? So I set it for $10,000 to help one person at the minimum. Now, hopefully, we can help a lot more people out there. If you are a plumber or anything, if you have any ability to maximize what we can do and help as many people as we can, and you are serious and not just saying that, you know what I'm saying? Like, we are really trying to do that. And I gotta put a time limit. I'm putting a time limit for the end of August. And if anybody, if we're not there, if we're not close, if we're not getting traction, then I'm gonna give everybody their money back. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna contact everybody to see what we want to do. You know what I'm saying? Together to build something with the people who were serious about it. You know what I'm saying?
People, they know what might happen. They know that sewage may shoot out and come back in their house.
What sort of damage does that do?
I can't imagine. I just can't imagine.
Smith and her neighbors say it's a health risk. In fact, one study found 1 out of every 3 adults here tested positive for hookworms, an intestinal parasite long thought to be eradicated.
The people who are infected release eggs. Those eggs are part of the excrement.
Okay.
And if they end up on the ground and become the hookworm, the infectious hookworm, and then you step on them or walk by, and it goes into your skin and goes through the cycle. So it's a human to soil, soil to human infection.
Hookworm is a parasite that feeds on the blood of its host. When people have a lot of hookworms in their gut, the parasite can cause anemia and even limit children's ability to learn.
So one of the thoughts is, and especially in Alabama, that the myth of the slow-speaking sharecropper, usually African-American, there's some evidence that it was because of the hookworm burden.
Last November, the Department of Justice opened a civil rights investigation aimed at assessing whether the Alabama and Lowndes County health departments are discriminating against Black residents. A state health official disagrees and says DOJ won't find any wrongdoing.
They'll come out with the same conclusion I had. I've done my own investigation. I see no discrimination. If you flush your toilet, you're responsible. Your home is your property. It's private property.
She even suggested residents use outhouses.
You've got an outhouse on the outside and you got sewage on the ground. Environmentally, the outhouse is better.
Now, like I said, I'm not as hard on the coon, but this, and I'm still calling her sister, even though, because she got mental illness. It's a mental illness. We can't make fun of mental illness, y'all. Right? Now, she told them that their outhouse is more safe for them as far as bacteria and getting sick and getting diseases is concerned. Because every time it rains or they use the bathroom or something, their feces come back up through their sink. And we talk about the Flint water crisis, but there's millions of water crises. Flint is one of countless cities.
Here, they leave it up to poor people to do it. And because they cannot afford it, it doesn't get done. And then they're prosecuted for not being able to afford the remedy. And the policies are not in place to enable a solution. Because instead of a massive effort being made to put in place wastewater treatment that could take in the effluent that's being released into the environment, it's being left up to poor homeowners who don't have the resources to do it.
Walter McMeans has lived in Alabama his whole life.
Is this raw sewage?
Yeah.
How long has it been like this?
Years.
The ground doesn't absorb water well, so special septic tanks are required, which can run upwards of $10,000.
Every time you use water, you're worried that the septic system might have some sort of failure.
I'm not worried about it. It does. And as the years pass, the problem get worse and worse. If we don't get something done about it, I don't know what we're going to do. But no one should have to live like this.
It's been like this for the last 50, 60 years. There's nothing done about sewage. Every individual got their own sewage, and depending on the perk of the land, it's coming out of the ground. And that may be part of the problem with the health condition here.
I'm sick and tired of it. I'm tired. I mean, why? Why is all this injustice being let to go on and nobody's being here responsible?
Because we not holding people responsible.
Our sewage system should be all right.
How do you feel living in this state?
Trapped. Nowhere to go. But we just have to pray and have faith and hope tomorrow will get better.
Amen. Amen. So if we pray and have faith, maybe, just maybe, tomorrow will be different. I don't know about but you know what? They said faith without works is dead. You know what I'm saying? So maybe we'll get up tomorrow and realize that we have to put in work. Yo, what up, my brother Dwayne? John F. Johnson. Okay. Yeah, I haven't heard of that. But yo, we have to help our people. And you know what? I didn't stop to think of if they're Christian, Muslim, if, you know what I'm saying, they are from Barbados, Jamaica, Africa, if they're from America, if they have descended from slaves, if they are feminist, if they are Rainbow Coalition. I see Black people that need help, and a part of community is helping each other. The difference is, right, when we went through the history of the 4th of July, back then they understood they had no friends, that they were all they had. They were willing to lynch them because they hated them so much they wouldn't take their money for a slice of pie. Today, they will take our money and probably spit in that pie, but they will take our money for that pie, and we will go to them for a pie instead of our own. Even though they may have gotten the way of making a pie from us. Because we will argue celebrating their day is our day. I mean, it's the new Moynihan Report. Right? That's all I'm saying. Now, I will let y'all get back to y'all hot dogs and y'all hamburgers and y'all American flags and y'all, you know what I'm saying, y'all fireworks, y'all sparklers. I'll let you get back to all of that, you know what I'm saying? And I'm done. But before I leave, I'm going to play one last thing. And again, if y'all want to be a part of the and before I play that, you know what I'm saying, if y'all want to be a part of the water crisis and help the people down there in Alabama, because we just saw what happened in Flint, you know what I'm saying, they don't gonna get no love either, and we are not going to get help for nobody but ourselves. So that is something that we are going to have to learn. So like I said, you don't have to add any extra money to the GoFundMe thing, because that's how they make money. But yo, just put 0 when they try to say how much you want to add to the extra thing. and somebody told me that they're taking extra money, and next time I will not use them again. You know what I'm saying? Even if I stop and we do it on another thing, if we get momentum, I'm gonna try to use a black platform. If you want to use my Cash App, is in the description. If you want to use PayPal, that's in the description. Whatever you want to use is in the description if you want to help. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I'll put a time limit on that. So if we're not there by the end of August, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm gonna be in contact with the people very, very soon. But if we're not there by the end of August, then you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna have, first of all, I'm gonna have a meeting with the people and see what they want to do. But ultimately, you know, my plan is just to give the people their money back. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'll be in contact with everybody who has donated, and we're gonna have a meeting. I'm gonna have a meeting with them. And also next week, next Saturday, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna go ahead and have the next meeting. I canceled the last one because for whatever. But anybody who want to be a part of this meeting to where we talk about building trying to build a group, you know what I'm saying, so where we can make money for ourselves, do things for our community. We talk about black businesses that we want to support. We have a plan and things that we want to do. And it's some things that we can't talk about on YouTube, but you know, we want to invest our money. We want to support black businesses. So we're going to try to make it a group mob effort to support black businesses to where, you know, we communicate, we talk about it together to which businesses we want to support, which efforts we want to support. I'm going to continue to do this water crisis thing. Even if I give the people their money back, I'm going to still try to raise the money myself. But some of these things we can't talk about on YouTube, and we have to be on, you know, other platforms. And, you know, so I'm going to bring back the next meeting next Saturday at, I'm going to say 3 o'clock right now, next Saturday at 3 o'clock East Coast time for anybody who want to be a part. And I'm going to come back on and talk about it. So if you want to be a part of the thing, so where we do group economics, we invest our money together in the things that we discuss, kind of like a think tank. Yeah, I talked about Jalen Walker on the last thing. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Highland Park, what happened. But yeah, that's a fact, yo. This whole what about black on black crime thing, that's just another excuse. That's like, yo, all of the things that we argue about. The black on black crime thing is just an excuse because people understand that. Because really, when you say what about black on black crime, right? First of all, they don't even realize they're comparing the police to the very people that they call thugs and criminals. So unless you're telling me that the police are thugs and criminals, I agree with that. That's a dumb argument to make. So if you're pro-police, you're just calling them a thug. If you say, well, what about black on black crime? Number two, a lot of the black on black crime comes from economic reasons. So instead of the police getting my money, I would rather these people fighting over economic situations in black communities get that money, if you ask me. No, I didn't see that. I didn't see that. But, you know, I showed there was a shooting at another parade or whatever. But this one was a white boy. He got away with it. Yeah, like 10,000 per home. But they say it could be as much because the soil is messed up. And so like they're trying to say that it costs each person like 10,000, and the city isn't going to give them a sewer system because they said it's up to each individual homeowner. But even when I was looking down there, see, that's another thing that you could talk about at a meeting, you know what I'm saying, that I want to talk about at the meeting. But the land in these counties and places like Alabama, you could get so much land and you can use the land for valuable things for cheap. No, I didn't hear about that, Dwayne. I didn't hear about that. I'm gonna have to look that one up. I just saw there was a white boy that started shooting at a parade, but he got away. But yo, controlling our water is very important. Controlling our food is very important. We can have all of these conversations and debates all day long. But as many people say, it's the action. But I know that we're not in the situation for action. So the videos and the premieres that I show is to get people into a right frame of mind so they'll be willing to take action. Now, before I get out of here, I got another premiere coming up in a few minutes. I set it up for 12:30. It's right now it's said that it's processing. So there's going to be another premiere on this channel right after this. So I see y'all over there. But before I let y'all get back to y'all 4th of July celebrations, like, let me run this back. You know what I'm saying? I played this at the beginning, and this is a speech I'm going to say to Black people. But what to Black people is the 4th of July? So let me play this last thing, and then I'm going to get out of here. So while y'all celebrate, just let these words play in y'all ears.
Fellow citizens, pardon me, and allow me to ask, why am I called upon to speak here today? What have I, or those I represent, to do with your national independence? Are the great principles of political freedom and of natural justice embodied in that Declaration of Independence extended to us? And am I, therefore, called upon to bring our humble offering to the national altar and to confess their benefits and express devout gratitude for the blessings resulting from your independence to us? I am not included within the pale of this glorious anniversary. Your high independence only reveals the immeasurable distance between us. The blessings in which you this day rejoice are not enjoyed in common. The rich inheritance of justice, liberty, prosperity, and independence bequeathed by your fathers is shared by you, not by me. The sunlight that brought life and healing to you has brought stripes and death to me. This 4th of July is yours, not mine. You may rejoice, I must mourn. What to the American slave is your 4th of July? I answer, a day that reveals to him more than all other days of the year the gross injustice and cruelty to which he is a constant victim. To him, your celebration is a sham. Your boasted liberty, an unholy license. Your national greatness, swelling vanity. Your sounds of rejoicing are empty and heartless. Your denunciation of tyrants, brass-fronted impudence. Your shouts of liberty and equality, hollow mockery. Your prayers and hymns, your sermons and thanksgivings, with all your religious parade and solemnity, are to him mere bombast, fraud, deception, impiety, and hypocrisy. A thin veil to cover up crimes that would disgrace a nation of savages. There's not a nation of the earth guilty of practices more shocking and bloody than are the people of these United States at this very hour. At a time like this, scorching irony, not convincing argument, is needed. Oh, had I the ability and could reach the nation's ear, I would today pour forth a stream, a fiery stream of biting ridicule, blasting reproach, withering sarcasm, and stern rebuke. For it is not light that is needed, but fire. It is not the gentle shower, but thunder. We need the storm, the whirlwind, the earthquake. The feeling of the nation must be quickened. The conscience of the nation must be roused. The propriety of the nation must be startled. The hypocrisy of the nation must be exposed, and the crimes against God and man must be proclaimed and denounced.
Right. So yeah. And Dwayne said, yeah, I appreciate you too, my brother. Check out Footprint Farms out of Mississippi sometimes, Black owned and operated. So yeah, we all should check it out. I'm gonna check it out, my brother. Definitely. I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Wanda, we definitely gonna try to hit him up. Like I plan on going down there, you know what I'm saying, when I get enough, you know, and I pay for my own trip and all of that. You know what I'm saying? I just want to try to help somebody. So like I will go down there if we are able to achieve the goals that we want to achieve. Now, like I said, hey, people may disagree with my terminology, but if this particular endeavor fails, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But it's not like I'm going to not going to keep trying. I won't get discouraged. I understand where we are as a people, and you know what? I have my whole life to keep trying. You know what I'm saying? And what else are we going to do? Because if we give up, then we lose. You know what I'm saying? So we have our whole life just to make progress. All we have to do is get to the next step, not solve the whole issue in one day. The system wasn't created overnight, so it probably is not going to be broken overnight. But you know why I'm willing to give up whatever it takes and do whatever it takes? Because you know what? My children, my children's children, my children's children, if I'm lucky enough to have that, they're still going to be here. And I don't want them to be in the same situation. I don't care how much money I make. Somebody can take that away. Somebody can pull them over and end their life. And there's no consequences. I can't live with that. So even for your own selfish reasons, you should be willing to do everything it takes because you know that your children, your lineage will be here to suffer the same fate if you continue to pass down the same trauma to them. So let's do something to start helping our people and helping each other. And if you feel like something needs to be done, then go out there and do it and put it out there, even if you have to come here or anywhere else, because I know I'm getting blacklisted and people don't get notifications, they get unsubscribed, they get all of this stuff. But I will support you in whatever you're doing if you're trying to help our people, you know what I'm saying? So I gotta shout out Dwayne, Wanda Chavis. Yo, I'm glad you know what I'm saying, you came on here live. It's been a while since I talked to you. Wanda definitely held me down for a long time. I gotta shout her out. I appreciate you, Ryan Carmichael. My young brother K Shaw. Yo, shouts out to you, Bakari, Mr. Untouchable, Bobby Wright. Shouts out to you. Raw, you already know. Shouts out to you, Raw. Bill Gates, my brother. Shouts out to you. Person Kid 21, William Richardson Sr., Erica, Brandon, everybody who came in here tonight, man. I thank all of y'all for coming, man. But as always, we have got to start standing for something, or we're going to keep falling for anything.